The clock here in front of me says 10 o'clock on the money. At this time, I'll call the Paulding County Board of Commissioners work session meeting of May the 28th, 2024 to order. I'd like to welcome Miss Ella Hendricks, who it's her first Board of Commissioners meeting, and she's new to Tally Richardson Cable. You want to raise your hand, Ella? Ask her to sing the national anthem, but she turned it down. Also, Randy Harris, it's always good to have you in the room. Thank you for being here, sir. I would like to ask you to turn your mobile devices off. They won't interrupt the meeting. I've already taken care of that. Rodney, if you bring the list forward of citizens wishing to speak. Thank you, sir. And an elected official that I didn't recognize is Sheriff Gullidge. He's incognito today, kind of. I'm going to start us off this morning with a proverb and a short prayer. So let's stand if you're able. The proverb is, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Dear God, we just thank you that we can be here this morning, that we can be a part of county government, that we can live in a free country. I thank you for our law enforcement and all they do for the county and the fire department, all they do, the marshal. We just pray that you would keep them safe. We would ask you to make our path straight as we think of the different issues and the different agenda items this morning. Be with us in our guidance and what we do on these issues. We thank you for our families and ask for protection over them. We pray for our country, which seems to be so out of kilter, and we just really pray that we'd come back to you and live the way we should. In Christ's name, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The minutes of May the 18th, 2024 work session and also the board meeting minutes are available for review. If you don't have a copy, they're on the back table. Announcements, we have a special video from ADAD at Dobbins Middle School. These are always my favorites, so let's enjoy together.
We absolutely love this program because we truly try to invest in our community, and we love this partnership because it's bringing the community in, it's bringing guest speakers in to expose our students to a variety of topics. This is practical and realistic information and education, but information given to them that they know is relatable. I think this is a great experience. Please welcome this into your school. That partnership is just something that you will benefit, your students will benefit, and it's going to be a lasting impact for the students.
I think it's a good program. It has a lot of information on, like drug use and stuff. So one of the main things that I took is not to drink and drive. Like I see that's a big thing on, many people drinking and driving and accidents and stuff.
It's a good program. I feel like it's impactful. Like the way y'all talk to us about it, the stories and everything. Like I feel like it touched people. Don't do something that you will regret in life. Just think about it,
We really enjoy these. I try to make all of them, and at least one representative or two of the K-9 unit will be at each one we do, so that our students can be educated on what the K-9 unit does within the county. I think it's very important to educate our young people on not just what we do, but the consequences of what can happen if these things aren't followed, whether it be the laws or simple rules. Thank you for allowing us to come into your schools, Paulding County. We sincerely enjoy this and have a great day.
We travel to schools all over the country sharing our message because we want students to make better choices with their life. And that's where our goal is, to help them be the best version of themselves. And the choices have impact on your family, on your friends, on everyone around you, communities. So when we give the presentation, we're hopeful that we can reach these students by sharing our life story with them so that they don't make the same dumb choices we do.
We're just thankful to have folks like Frank Baker, who has really brought the program to Paulding County and has really shepherded it through all these years. So super thankful for him and for Paulding County for allowing us to host you guys and have you come in.
I think that deserves a round. I love it. I got an 8th grader out there, and glad she was in the audience. Really a great program. Bid awards, none. Invited guests, none. Reports from committees and departments, none. Public participation on agenda items, no one has signed up. And under the consent agenda, thank you. Thought I had the latest agenda, but it looks like we've got reports from committees and departments. We're going to have James Stokes come forward, our chief appraiser, and he's going to talk about assessment notices.
Good morning, everyone. It's that time of year again. We've got last Friday, which was May 24th, we mailed out right at 74,000 assessment notices. That's going to open up a 45-day appeal window if you don't necessarily agree with our current year value. But this year is completely different than the last couple that we've seen. The values have definitely gone flat. The last couple years we've seen easy 20% increase year over year. This year it's hovering 3 to 5% in most areas. It is definitely, we've got several subdivisions out there that are actually declining in value. But there are still pockets that are increasing rather significantly overall. So I wanted to come before you guys to let everybody know all the notices. If you're having problems with the Postal Service, all of our notices are already on our website at the on the assessors Paulding.gov and the Q Public website. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll see where the just look up your property and you'll see the 24 assessment notice. Be glad to answer any questions that anybody has.
Mr. Chairman, if I can make a comment.
Please.
James, I appreciate you speaking today. Can you talk a little bit about, and just re-emphasize the fact that the totals that they're getting are based on the millage from last year?
Correct.
Not the millage from this year, because that
Right.
hasn't been set.
The annual notice of assessment does have an estimated tax at the bottom, but that's based on last year's millage rate. The Board of Education and the Board of Commissioners in your cities have not looked at their budgets hard enough to determine what they're going to do with their millage rate, which ultimately sets that millage rate. Also, this is the second year phase-in. The voters approved an additional homestead exemption for Paulding County M&O, moving it to a $10,000 exemption, as well as the school system is rolling back their 100% school tax exemption from age 69 to age 68. That didn't require, on either side, didn't require anybody to come in and have to reapply for these exemptions. We automatically move these exemptions to the better one that served the public.
James, what is the overall tax digest increase? You said 3 to 5% overall, or? I thought that was the average, so.
The only net after exemptions are backed out, it's about 3.3%.
Okay.
Overall throughout. But inside that, you've got subdivisions, some are going up, some are going down, some are relatively flat. But overall county is about 3.3% on the net.
About how many new homes did we add last year? Do you have that figure? Sorry, I should have asked you this ahead of time.
Yes, I do.
I just thought of it.
We added 1,341 new homes last year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. The consent agenda this morning has two items. Consideration for these are, item number 2 is adopt the animal control job classification for an animal care technician. And item 3 is adopt resolution 2024-11, authorizing the chairman on behalf of Paulding County to execute a contract for the acquisition of right-of-way with the Georgia Department of Transportation, project number PI NO00196669, which is State Route 101 at Gold Mine Road, and is located in Post 2. So any of the commissioners like to move either of these two items to a regular business? Hearing none, they'll stay where they are. Consent agenda. We have no old business this morning. Under new business is discuss action for the Board of Commissioners to approve the contract with Burmix Incorporated for meter reading services totaling approximately $907,200 per year for a 3-year term from operational funds. This project is for all our posts, and Mr. Wooten to better explain. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Currently, the water system has 57,813 metered customers in the system, and we've got multiple type of meters. We have manual touch read, radio read, and FlexNet, which are our AMI meters. We are or have been experiencing turnover of staffing that has extended a lot of our times on when we get bills out. And if you have a monthly bill and you have a set income, trying to keep that mark has been difficult when you've got private companies hiring your folks out. A few months ago, we decided to have discussions with Burmex, with Aquameter, and with Olameter Those are 3 companies that provide meter readers that do meter reading services for different counties. After receiving quotes and looking at what their abilities were, we went and discussed with Cobb County, Cherokee, and did a lot of research working with Bermex and what counties they represent. As you can see, they do Cobb County, Fulton, Gwinnett, Cherokee Water, and other municipalities. But they provide a meter reading service where they have a set time, which we're shooting for a gap of 28 to 30 days, and they have the ability to supplement their meter readers if they start to slow down because they've got so many different meter readers, and that way they can accelerate their schedule to meet the deadline we're trying to meet. Another thing that we would like to do is this is not just a Bermex meter reading contract. When a company like Bermex comes in, they hire your meter readers. We're hoping to come up with 4 meter technicians, and while Bermex is doing meter readers, their meter readers will be doing reading of our system. We will be upgrading our system with AMI. And so the goal is to use the number of employees that Bermex has and reduce that number of employees they need while we're expanding our AMI system. And the board has already approved for us to put up some AMI stations in some past board meetings. So the goal is to hire Bermex as a meter reader and increase what we're doing over time with our AMI system to reduce our need for Bermex. So we're requesting that the Board of Commissioners, well actually, if you will look in the back as well, I've done a summary with the quotes from the different 3 vendors, and I also wanted to touch on some of the benefits. As we increase our AMI system, that'll allow us to put information in so that if you're a homeowner, you'll get a notice if you got 24-hour continuous use. We're going to also include some ally meters that will actually give us pressures on the line. So getting Bermex to make these readings while we're replacing AMI is really going to help the system. And we'd like the Board of Commissioners to approve a contract with Bermex for meter reading services totaling $907,200 per year for a 3-year term from our operational budget, or operational funds.
Would there be any reduction in employees needed in the water system?
Yeah, when a meter company like Bermex comes in, their first thing to do is they want to hire all your current meter readers. Okay, but we are hoping to retain 4 of those to become meter technicians to help us expand our AMI system and make repairs on meters.
Any other questions for Ray?
I have some. Ray, what is the analysis of the cost that we're currently paying for this service? I didn't see that. I see what we are going to pay, but I wasn't sure that I caught that. It may be in there, but.
Yeah, it's, let me, here in the back, we currently, for 12 meter reading staff and vehicles, expend about $800,000 per year.
Okay, so this is going to be 907 plus we're going to keep 4 people that we already have.
Correct.
So.
It's going to, we are retaining for the staff to expand our AMI system, so that way we don't have to contract that service out. And so net term, it'll save us money as we expand our system.
Okay. So was there, I read a lot last night. There's a lot of in this notebook this time. So forgive me if I have this mixed up with something else. Is there an increase every year in this? Is there a built-in increase in this
There's a
contract?
built-in increase, a 5% increase per year, but the goal is to reduce the people they're having to use.
I got you.
So we're hoping they will offset each other.
Okay. Okay, as you install the new meters.
As we install the AMI
It will offset the
meters.
cost.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see, there was something else.
Excuse me, it was a 4%.
4%
Annual increase, I'm
built in. Okay. All right.
Now, you stay up till 2 a.m., but you couldn't read all of it.
There's a lot to read in here.
Just kidding.
Yes, there is.
Hey.
It took me 4 days to read it.
Ray, this is an annual contract for a term of 3 years,
That is correct.
and I know the intent is to convert everything over to AMI. Can all the meters be converted to AMI in 3 years?
We have done the numbers. We think we can convert it in 6 years. But what we put in the PowerPoint is that we actually included 10 years in the PowerPoint, but we feel confident we can do it in 6, beginning of the year 7. So there will be we will have to follow with another contract in 3 years. But it will be, like I said, maybe 4 instead of 8 Burmex readers.
Ray, I have
another
a
Go
question.
ahead.
Yes.
Can you explain what AMI is?
Okay. AMI is the ability, it is a meter that will transmit a signal to a base station, and the base station will transmit that to our office. So if you had an account with us, we could look at your meter and see if it's moving or not. The key thing about AMI is we can log additional information to where you turn around and we see that it's 24 hours your water's running. You'll get either a text, a phone call, or an email saying something's going on at your house. Give you the opportunity to check. You also can put another comment if you're using 25% more water than you did last month. It gives us a lot of additional ways to communicate with the people that have meters, but that AMI unit that is on your water meter sends signals so we can see it 24/7.
Thank you.
Great question.
I have one more. Sorry, I thought of my other question. So the trucks, right now, how many trucks do we have that are being used by meter readers?
Yeah, we have 12 vehicles being used by the meter readers. What'll happen, a company like Burmex, when they come in, they will come in with their own vehicles. So us going down to 4, we'll end up with 8 additional surplus vehicles. Those surplus vehicles, we're going to evaluate whether we can still use them in other areas in the water system or whether we need to surplus them. But we will check the condition of all the vehicles. But they will be, it's a turnkey service when they come in. They come in with their own vehicles, own uniforms, and then when people see them reading, they'll be reading on behalf of the county.
So they don't need office space either, do they?
They technically will not need a 24-hour, but they will have to come in and get what they need because we will load what meters on what route need to go out for them.
Okay.
So there will be that connection between the two, and it allows us to also, we will be tracking what they're doing. So if we're at day 26 and they got 5 days to read and we need it in 4 days, we definitely let them know so that they can do what they need to accelerate their reading.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks much. I think you got one more. Item 5 is discuss action to approve the water system to enter into the Aviva Flex 3-year subscription contract totaling $136,500 spread out over a 3-year term from the Renewal and Extension Fund. Project's located in Post 4.
Okay, Aviva Flex is our SCADA system software. We use this at Copper Mine and our other wastewater reclamation facilities. This is for the Richland Creek water system. And Richland Creek, it's our drinking water, so they have to have their own subscription. It's very similar to the one for the wastewater facilities, but this is for the water system, and it gives the treatment plant operators to have control over plant operations, data history, logging, report generation, and anything that we have to do, especially with your PLCs. But it helps us to maintain the equipment and communicate with the equipment. The water system actually is currently not on the county internet. We've got it isolated, but Will has also given us some computers that are not tied to any equipment that we can actually log on and use the county internet.
Other questions? Thanks, sir. New business item 6 is discuss action to authorize the chairman to enter into an engineering services master agreement with Atlas Technical Consultants LLC for the stormwater design inspection services for $199,946.90 through December 31st, 2024. The agreement will be funded with general funds. George Jones.
Morning.
Morning.
Stormwater maintenance essentially is responsible for the work in platted subdivisions in relation to open channel and closed channel pipe conveyance systems. Stormwater DOT is under the responsibility of, stormwater maintenance is under the responsibility of Paulding DOT currently. Paulding DOT Engineering has provided engineering, inspections, and construction plan bid document services for stormwater maintenance. Due to long-term vacancies in the engineering division, staff has been unable to process all work in a timely manner for stormwater engineering. Right now, DOT Engineering is at 25% of its engineering staff. There's a need for stormwater support, engineering, construction services, and inspection. Based on this need, it was determined to solicit a request for proposals from qualified consulting firms for an engineering consultant support services and inspections contract in September of 2023. 3 proposals were received, and the selection committee selected Atlas Technical Consultants, which was the former Moreland Altobelli, as the firm best qualified to handle this work. After multiple discussions and agreement review, the support would provide up to 40 hours per week dedicated to support Paulding County stormwater maintenance needs. This agreement will encompass identifying the drainage deficiencies, design for preparing bids for repair, maintenance projects, and contracts. The agreement will be funded through the general fund. It will not exceed $199,946.90 through December 31st, 2024. And if approved, this will be funded through the general fund.
Long time coming, huh?
Yes, sir. Obviously, there's a need for this work. I think like Paulding DOT, like other departments, we're having a hard time, filling some positions, and it does hurt the level of service that the board would like to provide for this. So we think it's something that's needed right now, and looking forward to getting it going.
Other questions? Thank you. We got another one here, I believe. Item 7 is discuss action to authorize the chairman to enter into an agreement with Croy Engineering LLC in the amount of $74,570 for the right-of-way acquisition services for the State Route 6, Business 6 at State Route 120 intersection improvement project. The funding will be allocated from SPLOS, Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, and the project's located in Post 1 and some of it in Post 3.
Yes, sir. As you said, the intersection of 120 Charles Hardy Parkway and State Route 6 Business Atlanta Highway is located in Post 1 and 3. SR 120 is a 4-lane median divided roadway, whereas SR 6 Business is a 2-lane undivided roadway. If anybody's ever been through there, it gets pretty busy at certain times of day, particularly during peak times. A lot of traffic flowing through there. I think SR 120 coming from the Cobb line just north of this intersection, last time it was counted by GDOT, had 32,200 vehicle trips per day in 2022. So significant amount of traffic. On August 9th, 2022, Reynolds, Smith & Hill, otherwise known as IRS&H, was awarded a contract by the Board of Commissioners for the preliminary engineering design services for this location. Project improvements include an additional westbound left turn lane onto SR 120 going towards Cobb County, and an additional lane from SR 6 business going by the old Briar Patch across 120, which would essentially terminate into Summerhill Connector. Basically trying to provide additional capacity through this intersection, again, particularly during peak times. Staff and the consultant has coordinated with GDOT on the project and proposed improvements and plans. Engineering has progressed and we're in the right-of-way, ready to go for right-of-way phase. A request for quotes for right-of-way acquisition was requested on February 2nd, 2024 from 7 consulting teams. 3 teams provided proposals and quotes. After reviewing the proposals and quotes, Croy LLC was selected as the highest ranked firm and has been recommended by staff to perform the right-of-way acquisition services for this project. The overall cost for the right-of-way services is $74,570 with an estimated 12-month schedule once a notice to proceed is issued. And if approved, funding for this agreement will be provided by SPLOST.
Questions on this one?
That's a pretty expensive corner, all those corners.
They are, obviously, with a commercial business, we're trying to obviously improve capacity while not obviously, take out any business. We're going to need some room for, obviously, the project, but we're not obviously looking to take out any buildings or anything like that. It's simply the available property that there is. Engineering, it's not about perfect solutions. It's basically doing the best you have with what you got. So we're just trying to make traffic a little bit better through there.
Is there any emphasis on taking the less expensive side of the road, maybe, for these improvements?
Which side are you referring to as the less expensive?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not the real estate appraiser, but I know one corner in particular was extremely expensive when it was bought. It was, at the time, one of the most expensive commercial corners in the county. And so I'm just wondering if, consideration is given in the engineering plans. I know their job is to build a road, not to save money.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to save money, part of our job,
Right.
and while the road gets built, hopefully. So I guess I'm just saying, who determines what is the best deal for the taxpayer and still gets the job done?
Right, again, we look at that as staff and as the consultant. When you do a road project, you look at trying to fit it in areas where you do require less right-of-way, less impacts. Again, you do not want to take out a building if at all possible. Condemnation,
Right.
taking out a parcel is extremely expensive. So you try to essentially fit in and put in the road, turn lanes, et cetera, improvements in the available area without impacting additional structures.
How far from the intersection will property be required? In other words, when you're heading to the intersection, obviously there has to be a time to
Right.
get into your lane, so.
Right, I think it's around the area of Ratcliffe Drive, maybe just before, all the way to about Summerhill Connector in that area. And again, there's existing right-of-way on those areas, but we're going to need a little bit of area, like around by the CVS, there's some lights I know that has to be moved, things like that, so.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
And item 8, discuss action to authorize the chairman to enter into a development agreement with Enclave at Dooley Road LLC in the amount of $147,900 for the roadway improvements at the intersection of Gullidge Road and Creekview Way. Projects located in Post 4. Mr. Jones.
Enclave at Dooley Road LLC executed a development agreement with the Paulding County Board of Commissioners at the December 10th, 2023 Board of Commissioners meeting specific to a tract of land that was rezoned as a planned residential development PRD at the January 25th, 2005 Board of Commissioners meeting as a rezoning case 2005-02-Z Northwest Metro Development LLC. This property is located along Gullidge Road and also adjoins a section of Dooley Road located in Post 4. In the agreement, Enclave at Dooley Road LLC had agreed to contribute $500 per lot for off-site roadway improvements. At the time of the agreement, there were 189 lots included in the development. 102 lots have been final platted at this time, and $51,000 has been contributed towards those off-site roadway improvements. Since the original development agreement, the county and the developer have been working together to engineer and acquire right-of-way for improvements at the intersection of Gulledge Road and Creekview Way, which is the entrance to the Aurora, now known as Aurora Creek subdivision. There are 87 lots remaining within the development. Staff has worked with the developer to construct an amendment to the development agreement. A new contribution amount of $1,700 per lot has been agreed upon to contribute towards the roadway improvements of Gulledge Road and Creekview Way, totaling $147,900. In addition, the owner-developer has agreed to provide sufficient right-of-way and easements for the intersection improvement project. We've consulted with the county attorney through this process of crafting the first amendment to the development agreement, and at this time recommend the board authorize the chairman to enter into this first amendment to the development agreement.
Any questions?
What is the cost going to be of this project?
At this time, I believe we're looking somewheres around $800,000.
Okay.
Good reporting, George. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Item 9 is discuss action to approve the proposed amendment to the ACCG Association of County Commissioners of Georgia Defined Contribution Benefit Plan. Ms. Tara Palmer.
Morning.
Good morning.
This is something that we've been working on for quite a while. There were several pieces that we had as far as our employee package, benefits, retirement, and then the salary study. What we're asking is to change the retirement plan to have a 2% multiplier for our departments. Right now, the only departments that have that 2% multipliers are public safety. So this will put everybody on a equal playing ground with 2%. Currently, the regular employees are at 1.5, and Sheriff's Office, Public Safety is 1.75, so we'd all go to 2. But that will require a mandatory contribution on the parts of our employees to make this happen. And we've not had a change in 20-plus years, so this will be the first step as far as a part of a recruitment and retention tool that you guys made a commitment of putting into place for this.
Had a lot of discussion about this, and it's important to have that. Any questions?
I would like to make a comment. I want to thank you guys for going through all of this. I know it's a lot of information. We've met with a lot of people, and thank you for just hanging in there and working with us to get this accomplished.
Well, we couldn't do it as a team, Frank, Tabitha, her team, you guys, so it just took all of us kind of make it happen. So then I got to really make it happen here in a couple months, so we'll see.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, one more from Ms. Palmer. Item 10 is discuss action to approve the Condren Associates Incorporated job classification and study.
This was something that we started last summer. You guys made a commitment to the employees that we would look at the salary and compensation plan every 3 to 5 years, and that's where we were. So we kind of sent it out to different organizations to see if they could help us. And of course, the one that really came forward and could do what we needed was Condren Associates. I started the process last fall. They got it to us in December. And then we've spent the last few months going over it, reviewing it to make sure that we can make it work. It's a very competitive plan. It'll carry us through next year of 2025. If we put this in place, we'll be one of the most competitive counties west of Atlanta. So I think it's a great plan for our employees, and we will be not just updating the scales, the starting pay and everything will change, but then we also got the longevity that's going to be built into this study as well. So our employees will have a chance to move up that scale.
Questions?
I have questions, of course. I'm sorry. Can you tell I'm worried about money today because the budgets, we're working on the budgets? Okay. So I wanted to ask you, what is our employee retention rate? Has it gone up or down over the last couple of years?
We've done really well I would say in the last 6 months. I really don't know. I guess maybe it is the economy or people, maybe that fear is coming back to them. But we've actually done really well. I mean, for example, I know DOT's had a hard time. We've actually hired 11 people in the last 3 months for the DOT. We've actually got an engineering development manager division manager that's coming on in the next month.
Yeah.
So we have seen quite a bit of application comes through, and the retention has kind of slowed down a little bit. So people are kind of staying in place right now.
So this salary study, is it essential for keeping our
Absolutely.
employees?
Yep, absolutely. It is, because that's one thing that we've been able, in order to retain some of the people that we've been able to retain and to attract some of the people, we were able to use the current scale because we have a little bit more flexibility. So in some of those engineering positions or some of those harder filled positions, we've been able to go up that scale a little bit more, and this is just going to increase that. So I think we'll be able to attract even more, and especially with that retirement piece as well. You're gonna
How
retain-
many employees short are we now? The sheriff's department is always short for reasons not always related to pay.
Yeah, true.
So besides the sheriff's office, how short are we of employees?
Maybe 20%. I mean, we've done really
20%,
well. I mean, most of our departments are full, and the applications are coming in like crazy. So everybody wants to work for Paulding.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm excited. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thanks, Tara, and Ashley, thank you for your work. All right, we get to hear from Mr. Wooten again. And item 11 says, discuss action to adopt resolution 2024-12, enacting a modification of the irrigation rate schedule to comply with the Metro North Georgia Planning District for the Paulding County Water and Sewer System. Ray Wooten.
Good morning again. The Metro North Georgia Water Planning District, quite a few letters. They were established back in 2001 by the Georgia legislature. Now they produce a document that all water providers try to keep up with, called the Water Resources Management Plan. And it deals with water supply, conservation, wastewater management, watershed management. It's all in the same plan that they use. And EPD follows behind Metro North Georgia Water Planning District. EPD is the group that will supply your wastewater permits for what discharges from your facility. It turns around and has your withdrawal permits. Everything that we have to supply comes from EPD, permitting wise, but you've got to be in good standing with the Metro North Georgia Water Planning District Water Resources Management Plan. Now, in that plan, we have complied with everything, and we continue to meet that. But back on November 1st, 2008, when we first came up with our tiered water structure, we did not make the modification for irrigation meters. And what is required by the plan is we do have the 3-tiered water conservation pricing. We did determine appropriate rates for commercial, multifamily, industrial, institutional categories, encouraging water conservation. We did not implement number 3, which is the modification for the irrigation rate. The resolution I have before you that I've worked with legal on allows us the ability to make that change to be in compliance with the plan, and that way we can get our permit for Copper Mine and for Pumpkin Vine and our facilities.
Questions? That's going to be a big improvement.
I hate to be the question person today,
no,
but
that's fine.
sorry.
That's
There was so much to absorb in this book here this time. So this is about people watering their lawn, or is this irrigation for agricultural?
No. This irrigation deals with landscaping. It wouldn't impact you watering your lawn because the department does not sell irrigation meters for people's lawns.
Okay,
These are
Okay.
particularly just irrigation meters.
okay. And who does this affect then?
The impact, most of them, you do have some HOAs with irrigation meters.
Mhm.
The other irrigation meters are with commercial properties.
Okay, okay.
Have an example?
Well, I don't know if you've driven down the street in the early morning, but you'll see people irrigating the businesses on both sides of 278. Those are their irrigation meters that we're talking about. The Metro North Georgia Water Planning District is trying to get people to do more conservation.
Hmm.
But those would be the meters we're talking about.
Okay, thank you. That clears a lot up for me.
Well, is that rate the same then? You got my curiosity up. I didn't read that.
It's 200% more.
Right now, the irrigation meters are being charged just like your normal meters, and that's where it would change.
Thank you. Item 12, finishing up here, discuss action to authorize the chairman to approve and execute in a form substantially similar the construction agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation in the amount of $2 million for the State Route 101 at State Route 120 roundabout project, GDOT PI number 0018367. Project's located in Post 2. Mr. Jones to report, and Tabitha's smiling.
The Board of Commissioners approved awarding a contract to Wilson Construction Management at the April 30th, 2024 Board of Commissioners special called meeting for the construction of a single-lane roundabout at the intersection of SR 101, SR 120, located in Post 2. Through the Georgia Department of Transportation, the county was awarded $2 million in state funding towards the construction of this project. With this award, the county was required to follow the Georgia DOT Plan Development Process, otherwise known as the PDP. The PDP sets forth the current procedures and steps necessary for GDOT to administer federal aid projects in accordance with the policies and objectives of the federal government. GDOT did review the bid and concurred on awarding the project to Wilson Construction Management. Prior to receiving a notice to proceed for this project from GDOT, a construction agreement is required to be executed between the Georgia Department of Transportation and the county. The construction agreement provides language on the respective responsibilities of the county and GDOT pertaining to the project, such as scope of work, insurance, claims and liability, etc. GDOT is requesting the chairman to authorize and approve this this contract in a form substantially similar. Again, a construction agreement in the amount of $2 million for this project, GDOT PI 0018367. So essentially, it's standard operating procedure with GDOT. Just basically, lay out the respective responsibilities. So every project you get like this with GDOT, they require this.
Questions?
Well, it's taken us quite a while to get to where we are on this project. Thanks again for getting this done, and let's get going.
Absolutely. It has been a long time coming. Staff's worked on it really hard. We've had consultants and, these projects.
It's gone back and forth.
It's gone back and forth. There's been right-of-way negotiations, as you know. It's been, plans, getting things approved through GDOT. These are two state highways, but again, this affects a lot of folks in this area, and it's a great project.
And we would be waiting a lot longer had we not taken this step.
It still wouldn't be on the books.
Right. So, thank you.
So Tabitha, what's the delay going home? 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Yeah. A lot of podcasting. What's the start date?
Again, typically what we found from the last project that was similar to this, the Burnt Hickory Stout, Brownsville, from the time the project was awarded by the BOC to getting a NTP from GDOT was about 3 months. So I think we're looking in that time frame. We just awarded the project on the 30th of April. So that's what we're looking at right now. Once the project does get an NTP, it's got a 30-month construction time frame for completion. Again, it's a little trickier out there because you're going to have to, you got to do the roundabout with the existing traffic, so there's going to be some staging, et cetera. There's no off-site detours.
Great report, George, thank you.
So we all need to be patient, right?
We always are, right?
Well, folks, that's the conclusion of regular business. We're honored to have also a couple of additional elected officials, which would be Judge Angela O'Connor and Solicitor General Luana Nolan. So thank you for being here. The bad news is the marshals are now collecting a late fee. So,
I'll get up right on that.
public participation on non-agenda items. We have no one who's put in for that. I would like to ask the county manager for any comments. Well, before I do that, see if any of the commissioners have any comments. Announcements.
Okay, so Wellstar Paulding is doing a Cancer Survivors Day on Saturday at Wellstar Paulding. The theme this year is In the Joy of Living, Hope Gives. So it's from 1 to 4, again, at Wellstar. We would love to see you there. There's all kinds of things going on for kids and grandparents, parents, and survivors. So if you have a minute, stop by.
Other announcements here? Anything, Keith? Oh. Yeah. Well,
I've talked enough.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the Elections Board and the Elections Office for the great job in pulling off another election with the thousands of people that go to, 19 different precincts? 21? Okay. So, yeah, just no one from the Elections Office is in here, but maybe word will get back to them that I'm proud of them. All right. Frank, you got something?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it. At this time, I would recommend a need for executive session for real estate and further recommendation that the board consider adjourning from executive session.
Okay, thank you. Have to get a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for the purpose of real estate and that we adjourn from that meeting.
We have a motion from
Second.
Commissioner in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So everything's covered, right? We will not come back in this room. We'll adjourn from the room across the street. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you being involved in county government more than you know. So long.